Hey everyone, start of another week here. It's been pretty nice weather lately. We got all the lambs outside that are looking really good. Got a few more inside that were just born and they might be coming out here. Weather's supposed to change a little bit to get real cold again the next couple days, so I'm gonna try and move them outside maybe tomorrow so they can get acclimated outside before it gets real cold. But today we're gonna be working on these sheds. We built two more. They're 17 by 40 feet long and they're pretty important for keeping the lambs warm. Since I built these, the death rate outside has gone way down. I built these last year. These are 45 by 18. Wanted them a touch smaller. The other pen's a little bit smaller. We're gonna put them in there. Use tin on the roof, but instead of tin siding, we're gonna just use full 2x8 siding. I thought the tin would be okay with sheep because it's a little bit light, and I just think it looks better. I don't like building things out of wood too much, but the lambs, especially the feeder lambs, when they get running, they start bashing things, and like you can see them tearing it up. And that kind of defeats the purpose of a nice looking shed. So we're bolting 2x8s on the sides. It should add a lot of rigidity and just make a long lasting shed. So I'm just running through my morning chores here, checking lamb health, checking ewe health. Got a few things in the barn to do, and then we'll get on that. Back here in the barn now, just had this set of twins born. Sometimes when lambs are born they have like a really short wool, and sometimes it can be long and fluffy. Let's see if I got any fluffy girls in here. There might be one on the other side, but sometimes like these Rito sheep, I get them where they just have the softest, nicest like fur almost. It is wool, and as they get older it looks like the rest of them, like it's kind of curly stuff. This one lamb here, he's kind of got longer hair, and the other one's just shorter, tighter curls. That's interesting to see from a set of twins. Usually a set of twins would have the same type of hair or whatever, but these ones I know for sure. What's going on? That's interesting to see on a set of twins because usually they would have the same type of wool, whether that be this tight curly stuff or the longer fur. I know for sure these are hers because she's the only one that's lambed in this little time period. We had one other set of twins here. These guys, they look really good. I gotta still remember to give everything umbilical spray. But actually this is 219. She's really friendly. Her name is Maggie. Homage to one of my first sheep, which was 2019. And she was super friendly. They're not related, but their numbers are similar and their demeanor is very similar. So this is Maggie number 2. Maggie number 1 always met me at the gate every day for grain. And that was the first year I got sheep. So she was a special sheep in my heart until one day she froze to death. But anyways, things are looking good. Hopefully we get some more lambs going here, but I'm gonna head out and feed right now. Yeah, I spoke too soon on these lambs. Before we go to feed, I came back, thought I should just make sure to double check the milk on that one. And this one here, 219, that I just said such nice things about, looks like. She's got very little milk, I would say next to none. I know, but I don't know what to tell you. Like, you obviously were kissing someone you shouldn't have. These are the consequences. She doesn't have much milk though, so I tubed these guys with colostrum. You look so worried. So our lambs are doing much better now. They were kind of shriveling up and not loving life. So I'll probably mark down not to keep her lambs, which is too bad. She's a good ewe. She's friendly. I do like you very much, but I don't run a rescue farm either. So then on this next one here, again, ladies and gentlemen, check milk. This one here, I don't know if you can see that very well. One side of her udder is a lot lower than the other. So I reached down and felt her teats, and one is very, very full, has not been stripped, has not been sucked by the lamb. So I would say there's a case of the lambs. Try the one side, they can't get any milk out of it because there's a plug in the end of it, just to start with. Once I got the plug out and I just stripped it a couple times, really good milk. But the lambs probably were thinking, well, there's nothing here, so we'll go to the other side. Then she gets very lopsided. If they continue that trend, mastitis sets in. Again, strip the teats, check the milk. If I hadn't done that, probably would have lost these two lambs because they wouldn't have had the colostrum. They might be able to get just enough to survive a little bit, and then 3 days from now they'd be toast. This one, she might be able to raise them. That was a pretty bad case where the one teat is a lot tighter than the other, one side of the udder. So she would probably have set in with mastitis. Those are important things to check. Remember when I said that umbilical spray is blue, very blue. So we've got a bit of a production going here. I built these frames myself. Like I said, they're 17 by 40 feet long. then we cross strap the roof with angle iron. So we're using these 2x8s in the back, and then we are just bolting them in. And I think some guys build these so where your board sits here, you just weld a strip on the other side, and then the board sits just kind of loosely. That would work fine, I guess, but I needed a little extra strength because these are so big. The pipe likes to flex, and we'll just see if this works. I should have bought bigger angle. That was my biggest mistake here. So we're not holding enough of the wood on, so I think we're gonna just, once everything's in there, we gotta get 2x6s to put in the top, and we're gonna weld a strip from the top to the bottom on each side of angle just to keep it there. And that way if anything gets hit, not that sheep are gonna move these very easily, but Joy and Garrett are working on that. I'm gonna go keep working in the barn. Garrett did all the welding on these angle irons and he got that done. And this is what we did this morning. This is the roof. This shed is built like a trapezoid, so it's not square with the tin. Shout out to the guy who built this. I don't know what he was doing, but obviously he should have gone back to school and figured out what a measuring tape and a square are. It's not bad, but it's off by a couple inches. I go by dimensions of the shed and make the tin fit. We're gonna have to cut a sheet in half and stretch this, but Joy and I did this morning while Garrett was finishing welding, and then we're gonna switch here in the next day or two, and then we'll put the sides on this one and put the roof on that one. Nice to get these done, even though I should have had them done like a couple weeks ago, but there isn't really a rush because the ewes aren't lambing. There's no sheep and lambs to put these in, so there's no rush to get them done. But the weather's nice, we might as well worry about that before it turns to minus 30 again. Alright, it's the next day here. I'm just walking through the barn with my morning run, and looking at these twins again. This is the one that has very limited milk. I don't know, they look okay. So I think what I'm gonna do is just pull one of them. It's about 65 bucks to raise a lamb artificially. For the 30-day period they need to be on milk. They don't do near as well as lambs that are raised by their mother, and the whole process goes like it's supposed to, but she's got like just a touch of milk. Thinking she might have enough milk to raise one. Usually that's what I've found. So they don't look like they're starving this morning, and that's been about 14 hours since I fed them. And if she had no milk, like they're learning to suck. They know how to suck and everything. If she had absolutely nothing, they'd be showing signs of being hungry. But I'll tube them both again, and then probably, like I said, just pull the one and hoping that she raises the one. I'll make a note of it, and then I'll keep an eye on them when they're in here and before they go out. There's one that's outside that her mother just has limited milk, and that's a case where I think that ewe's like 9 years old. She's just getting tired, and she raises one lamb really good, but the other one's just struggling a little bit. I did put him in the orphan pen for a day, and he had a complete meltdown. So I was like, well, he obviously doesn't want to be in here, and I put him back outside. I kind of watch him. He's figured out how to steal, so that can happen. They kind of learn as they go, and they figure out, like the lambs, they can get pretty smart when all the ewes are up eating. Then they kind of have free range selection of access to udders, and they just go buck wild on trying to find someone with milk, because if mom doesn't have it, then they learn, well, gotta figure it out somewhere. So sometimes you can pull lambs and put them in the orphan pen and they do well there, or sometimes if they're old enough and the mother runs out of milk or the mother dies or something, then they figure out how to steal. This guy's way too young to make him do that, but we'll let her raise one, make a note of it, just see what happens. So I saw this morning someone actually sent me an email. Also, I forgot that I have an email address attached to this channel. I think it's needingsheep@gmail.com. Sometimes I get some emails on there. I have to apologize. One fellow sent me an email right when I was at 1,000 subscribers, and I just noticed it this morning because I forgot to check it. And he had some really nice things to say, so I want to thank that guy. I forget his name off the top of my head, but I will definitely respond to you. I don't check all my comments in email, but if you do have a question, definitely reach out. There were a lot of people that helped me to get here. So, but one question that was asked today was, do I artificially, when I'm tube feeding, do I give them artificial colostrum, or do I milk the ewe? Oh, buddy. When there's an instant of, this guy does not like his tube. Almost always I'm using artificial colostrum, and I'm actually using cow colostrum. I'm using a colostrum supplement because most of the time I'm just supplementing colostrum. I'm not trying to replace it. There's been a couple instances, I think I had one the other day actually, where they don't have any colostrum to speak of, and if that's the case, then the supplement's not enough immunity for them. Oh yeah, these guys got some full bellies, so they must be getting milk out of her somehow. But anyway, the biggest thing about colostrum from the ewe, it is significantly better than powdered colostrum, but most of the time I'm supplementing if they're triplets, and then if that's the case, powdered colostrum suffices. But the most important thing is getting the passive immunity against diseases, and the clostridial vaccine that we use passes through the colostrum for the lambs and gives them a lot of immunity. So if I have a ewe that has not even one speck of milk, say she's got triplets or something, in the past I have milked ewes. Milking a sheep sucks, especially when you don't have a holding chute or anything. The sheep doesn't really like to be milked, and their teats are so small, it's like trying to milk a pinky finger. So I have an easy milker, which is like this hand pump thing you stick on the ewe and you pump it. It works okay. I try not to have sheep that don't have milk. Usually if they have zero milk, then they probably had a problem last year that you should have caught. Let's check this girl. She doesn't have much milk. So if I am milking a ewe for colostrum, then I'll milk someone else that has it and give that to the lamb. It's better than nothing, but 99% of the time I'm using powdered colostrum just because I don't have time or the desire to fight with a sheep and get the milk out of her. I know some people do it that way. I think it is a better way for the lamb to get passive immunity, but it's just not how I do it. So the powdered colostrum isn't terribly expensive either, and just for the hassle factor, it's just what I use. There's about 100 sheep in here right now, and my feed cart holds about 400 or 500 pounds, and right now I think the ration's 10 pounds per head. So I'm running 2 feed carts full right now because the ration's a little bit heavier. We can get the weight in the cart at this time, at least in this season. So I'll feed 1 cart worth when I'm running the mixer, which you saw yesterday when I did that, and then I'll leave it full overnight. So then the sheep kind of get split fed twice a day, and that's just better all around. So then they have more access to feed all the time. So right now you can see their feed alley / feeders quite empty, and they're kind of wondering why I'm standing here not feeding them. So I'm going to run out a second load right now. This feed cart that I have is a 525 Val Metal. I don't even think they make them anymore. They're like the smallest one they made. I think it's only 30 inches wide, which works pretty good. So this feeder's 3 feet wide, and that's pretty much the limit for that's used to reach across. They leave about a 5-inch strip in the middle, so I just go through and I kick it, just so they have even distribution of feed. I usually have about 120, 130 sheep in here. This feeder's only about 50 feet long, so there's 100 feet total. And you kind of want 1 foot per head, especially if they run out, if they get hungry. And with ewes with lambs on them, they're always running out of feed. It feels like, oh guys, come on. I'm popping my panel over. Hey, move, go on. Come on. I think that ewe's gonna lamb. Just looks weird. It's either gonna lamb or she's sick, but so this feed cart, like I said, I bought it used from a university at a sale they had. It's seen some use. I think this, best I can figure out, is this is weight they've put on. Like they made these steel bars, and then because this thing is utterly useless when it's not on cement or hard surface. If it's on the snow, just forget it. I flipped it over at least 3 times backing it off the ramp. Almost broke my leg a couple times. That's close, because when it's full of 500 pounds of feed, this thing weighs like 1,000 pounds empty. I didn't realize it was that heavy, but there's a dent in my tailgate to prove that. There's just an auger in here, and then it's supposed to come out of this flap. And it was kind of a pain the first year I had this. I would run down one side, and then I would turn it around on the snow, and I couldn't back it up the ramp, so then I would get it halfway, turn the tractor around, push it back up, and then back down the other side. What a hokey system. So I cut this gap out of the front of the, I guess where the flighting's supposed to be. So then it turned it into like a front unload. So it still puts about 70% of the feed out the side, but then the rest falls down the middle, and it works really good for this system. So then I can just back it up, and I can fit, if I have to, I can fit 2 full cart loads on here and then leave a third one on the cart, and then the next morning do it again. Like I said, right now we're just feeding 2 carts a day. But I've got some unhappy sheep over here. They're in their jugs. They need to come out today, but I gotta go haul some hay, and they're gonna have to wait till after lunch. My last video, my lambs dumped my Milwaukee drill and battery into the bucket of milk. The drill might be salvageable if I take it to a repair shop, but the battery started leaking some green liquid. That can't be good. So I'm not spending $300 on another drill for mixing milk, because it's kind of hard on the drill. It gets kind of wet and musty, so off to Home Hardware we go. I bought this for less than $100 with a battery and a charger. It's been mixing milk all week, and well, the battery hasn't run out and hasn't died yet, but it does smell like there's a chance it burns the barn down. These unforeseen costs and sheep. I'm just gonna clean this milk machine right now. I just run clean water through the lines, put it back into a drainage bucket. Then this is a pre-mixed cleaner, run that through the lines, and then wash it out again with clean water, then fill it with milk. And he's got these hand pumps on it. They work pretty good, because they just run the stuff through it. I'll be completely honest with you, cleaning stuff gets neglected sometimes when you get real busy with lambing, but the way that this system works, it makes it really easy, and then it gets done, which is important. Somebody asked me if I have an issue with lambs sucking the milk through the lines. Honestly, I'm really surprised at how well this thing works. Their sucker reflex must be strong, because they're drawing milk quite a ways through here, and it's warm, and it works good, and they figured it out way better than the buckets. If you're on the fence about buying a heat wave over the buckets, I wish I would have done this a few years ago for sure. So I put a video up a little while ago, like in November I'm thinking, where I was baling drying hay for sheep, and that video was filmed in July, right in the midst of our awesome drought this summer, but these are the bales I made, some of them anyway. And it does work good for drying ewes. It's reed canary grass, and it just works really well for getting ewes off of milk after weaning. But I don't really like feeding hay, because I can blend straw and silage a lot cheaper. So, and I have a little bit extra, and a couple people that have purchased hay from me over the years, they like this stuff, it works good for them. So I'm just gonna call a couple loads of that, because I think with the feed inventory I've got, I think we're gonna be okay. Alright, I'm going to strap this down and then I'm taking off with this load. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully next week we get a little bit more lambing action I can show you. This has been, like I keep saying, a pretty disappointing start to lambing, but we'll hopefully have something soon. I think February and March could be pretty gnarly, but they are bagging up. It's just taking forever. Sorry, I'm looking at my way over here. I got a puppy, and the lamb is just coming up to him, and the dog's like, don't even start with me. Kind of funny watching the lambs and the dogs. Either way, see you guys next time.